The gas cap. After I started first grade, I decided that I had an opening for a second friend in my life. So on my way home from school one day, I started walking with a boy that I'd never met. Along the way, he stopped suddenly and unscrewed the gas cap from a 1940s car and shoved it into his pocket. And we continued on to our respective houses. The next day, after school, we met again and started walking toward home. As we approached that same car, we noticed that the gas cap had been replaced with a shiny new one. "It's your turn," he said, nodding toward the car. I wanted to have another friend, so I reached out and removed the cap and put it in my pocket as he had done. Suddenly, the front door of the house across the street flung open and a man leaped out and shouted, "Hey, you kids!" We turned and ran in two directions, me to my house and my ex-friend to his. The man continued shouting but did not pursue us. I ran so fast that I thought I was probably breaking some speed record for humans. My heart was pounding as I sneaked into my room and hid the gas cap with all my stuff. I was too afraid to do the right thing and return it. That's the way this story would have ended in a Sunday school lesson. The only thing that I did right was to never walk home with that boy again. And by the way, at age 74 now, I still regret that I had not done the right thing. Leaves of 3, let it be. The world was full of bad little boys. Too many times I would look in the mirror and see one of them looking right back at me. The preachers were right when they said, all have sinned and all need a Savior. Another preacher said that we reap what we sow. This story demonstrates the principle. Not long after the gas cap theft, another bad boy came up to me with some green leaves in his arms, on his hands. "Hey kid, do you want to feel something really good? Hold out your arms." Well, how could I resist? I liked feeling good. Obediently, I held out my arms and he rubbed the leaves all over both of them. Then he assured me that I'd feel it pretty soon. Well, he was right. Very shortly, my arms began to burn and itch. The next day, blisters began to appear, and the next day, they were larger and oozing. 2 days after that, the photographer came to Hort School to take class pictures. By then, both of my arms were horrible to look at. When he told the class to smile, there were 24 smiling faces and one big frown. That was the miserable little kid with poison ivy. I learned much later in life that poison is a misnomer. It's an allergen, so only those who are allergic get it. Thus, the perpetrator of this crime escaped untouched. That was the other bad boy. Good thing the floor was clean. From an early age, we learned not to waste things. When I found that circus peanut in the parking lot, I didn't want to waste it, so I ate it. Many times over the years, if some food item went overboard onto the floor, Dad would call out from the head of the table, "Good thing the floor was clean." Then we'd pick it up and eat it. Exceptions were made if the food item was something not pickable, uppable, like dried beef gravy. and still we didn't waste it. Dad would give our dog a dispensation of grace and bring him in from the outside. Animals didn't stay in the house. And the dog would happily clean up the spill, hoping that someone else would have a little accident. Ours was not the only frugal family in Florida. One day at school, I was taking a bathroom break, as were several other boys. One boy had just flushed the toilet and was leaning over watching the waste go down. He was chomping on a piece of chewing gum, and the gum slipped out of his mouth, falling plop into the now fresh water. He didn't miss a beat. He reached into the now still water, rescued the gum, and popped it back into his mouth. Then he spun around, smiling, and headed back to class. How to drink pop. Back at the Deckards, Dad was feeling his relative prosperity and surprised us with a whole bottle of pop for each of us. We kids sat around the table with our special treat and began sipping slowly. It hadn't been announced, but this was a contest with one unspoken rule: be the last one to finish. We watched each other's progress intently. Sip, pause, slow down, smaller sip, set the bottle down, sip. Now hold it in your mouth for a while. And so it went until our pop was gone, except for the winner, who could say, "Oh, is yours gone? Well, I still have some." Thanks for joining me. I'll be back in 2 weeks with more mundane adventures for you.